There's a movie called Back to the Future. Our hero, he's traveling from 1985 to 1955. But during that travel, the main energy source of the car, which is the time machine, it gets damaged. He needs to find that same amount of electricity. He takes the portrait of Thomas Edison, representing electricity, and then he says, Tom, how on earth I'm going to find 1.21 gigawatts in 1955? I went back to our library at home, tried to find what is a gigawatt in the encyclopedia. I bought a small electric motor. I made some simple, silly calculations. The only thing I remember, there was a blackout in the apartment.
Yasin Kasirga, a true force in the global energy arena. He is the decarbonization leader at GE Vernova. For more than 20 years, he's led the charge in building over 11 gigawatts of power, from gas and hydro to geothermal and solar, while delivering more than 25 wind projects across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. A senior advisor at COP28 and a key contributor to the UAE consensus, Yasin is also one of the co-authors of the landmark report, Tripling Renewable Power and Doubling Energy Efficiency by 2030, issued by the COP28 presidency, IRENA, and the Global Renewables Alliance, setting out crucial steps to keep 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach. Yasin isn't just an engineer of power systems, he's an engineer of change.
If you are really not well prepared, if you did not adapt the sustainability at the core of your operations, you will find it very hard to sell your products and services, to access to capital, and you will also find it very hard to attract real talent. I think when it comes to energy transition, it's a relay race. It's not a solo race because of the size of the challenge. The time is ticking. So we need to find a way to stop competing and building coalitions. We will not be able to solve that much a challenge problem without systems thinking, without bringing all these pieces together. Otherwise, it will be again business as usual, and we know that business as usual is not going to help us.
Yasin, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for I know you're very busy. You took time out, so really appreciate you joining us today. You're an energy executive. You are a deal maker, strategist. But tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me, how did you end up here? How did this journey lead you to where we are right now?
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I think it's all about really the curiosity I had about how things work, how systems work, how infrastructure work, how society work, engines work, people work. So I think that was the main driver behind all the point that I'm currently right now. I grew up in Turkey in a family that really values hard work, education, dedication, and leaving a legacy behind. So those are like also my core values. And apart from LinkedIn, I mean, I've been sharing a lot. I'm trying to use as much as I can the social media platforms, but probably a couple of things that people may not know about me beyond the sharing on the LinkedIn is I'm a very avid reader of history and psychology.
Any particular,
especially evolutionary psychology and the way our brain works. I'm fascinated with it.
Any era in history? Any particular, like...
World history is much more important for me, just to understand how the civilizations in different parts of the world developed and came together, all the collaboration, how they managed to solve different locations but similar problems. So those are the things I think I am feeding myself a lot and connecting the dots.
I'm fascinated. I'm because you're from Turkey. For me, I'm going to say this wrong, that Toby Tepe, to me, is the most fascinating,
amazing
archaeological site on the planet. I think the fact that one site has unlocked history, I think is absolutely amazing. I think, I'm Wales from Turkey. I just think it's fun. I could do a 4-hour podcast on that, but I won't. But just
I can see.
Sorry, I love it.
No, and apart from that, I think I truly believe that there is a famous quote. I mean, you first learn, and then you earn, and then you return. So I try to give back. I mentor young professionals, try to support them, because I think, and the way I believe in terms of the leadership, it's all about being in service. and to have a dent in people's life. So whatever I can do in terms of leaving a legacy behind, that makes me also having a very fulfilled life. And on top of that, I love nature.
Okay.
I love animals.
Brilliant.
I am a scuba diver. I am a rider,
Very good.
and I love sports and of course music.
And is it in that order? Nature, scuba diving, bikes, or
It's not that the order, I would say. Probably nature and the music is number one,
yeah?
and then animals.
Do you play any instruments?
I have 11 instruments at my home,
Really?
and I think that's what makes me really a little bit introvert,
Yeah.
but really find myself. I'm not a super professional on any of them, but even playing a song that I like or trying to play that song
Amazing.
either through a harmonica or a ocarina
Yeah.
or a trumpet or a J sax.
Wow, that's amazing.
Those are the things that really makes me very, very happy.
Brilliant. What's your deepest dive so far?
I'm an advanced diver right now.
Oh wow.
I went up to 32 meters. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sensational. Thank you. What inspires you from day to day? Like, what would be your, I wouldn't say driving force, but what would be kind of, your incentive each day?
Well, I think, and this could be a fun story. It was 1995, and there is a movie called Back to the Future. Some people will know, some people may not. In the first sequel, our hero, Marty McFly, he's traveling from 1985 to 1955.
Mm-hmm.
But during that travel, the main energy source of the car, which is the time machine, which is called the flux capacitor,
Yes.
which runs on nuclear energy, it gets damaged. So our lovely mad doctor, Dr. Emmett Brown, he needs to find that same amount of electricity. And he has a wall that he has the portraits of Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein. At the moment he realizes that 1.21 gigawatts is something not easily found in 1955, he takes the portrait of Thomas Edison representing electricity, and then he says, Tom, how on earth I'm going to find 1.21 gigawatts in 1955? I think that fascinated me a lot. And I remember vividly that scene just right after watching the movie. At that time, there is no Google. So I went back to our library at home, tried to find what is a gigawatt in the encyclopedia. I even was super fascinated about time travel. I bought a small electric motor, which works on 1.5 volts.
Okay.
I made some simple, silly calculations. And I thought to myself, okay, the plug is 220 volts. This is 1.5. So if I connect them, maybe I can reach the speed of DeLorean, which is 88 miles per hour, and I can make it travel in time. The only thing I remember was it's a different time travel. There was an explosion. There was a blackout in the apartment. But fast forward, I think that was the first time that I started to be fascinated about electricity. Then I had my first bachelor on mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
I fell in love with thermodynamics. I decided to, the more I become aware of, world reading, I came to the realization that electricity is the lifeblood of the civilization. And this could be a fantastic career if I follow on this path. And almost 20 years fast forward, I am right now working for a company leading their decarbonization business, and that company was established by Thomas Edison.
Wow.
I built almost 11 gigawatts of power, which can help me to travel in time 10 times. Back to the Future movie.
Can you just do our listeners a favor? Can you explain what a single gigawatt is in power terms? Because people might not know what is 1 gigawatt. How would you explain a gigawatt to a person?
This is all a rating for the power.
Right.
So a giga means like a billion.
Right. A billion.
It's a billion.
Okay.
So mega is million, kilo is 1,000,
Yeah.
mega is million, million, giga is billion. So 1 gigawatt is a fairly big amount of power that is like easily enough to power more than millions and millions of homes.
Really?
Yeah.
So could 1 gigawatt, for example, power, in your estimate, how many gigawatts would it take to run Dubai?
Well,
Or say downtown Dubai?
let me put it like that. 1 gigawatt
Yeah.
can power 1.5 million homes.
1.5 million homes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that big.
That's pretty big. And you were saying before, so when you were a kid, you went yourself and did the calculations. Did you always have kind of that, like, just natural ability to do the calculations, to work it out yourself? It just came easy to you? Like, you felt that it was like a gift, or like a
I think I was.
Yeah.
You know, at least I have never thought myself like I have to have a courage to do something.
Yeah.
I said to myself, look, they can do it. Why should I? Why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I have a calculator. It was a very silly calculation, by the way, you know. I mean, because my mind was saying DeLorean is reaching the time travel speed at 88 miles per hour, which is approximately like 140 kilometers per hour. And my calculation was if I divide 220 by 1.5, it's almost 1.40. So if that motor, small electric motor,
Yeah.
reaches to the speed of 140 kilometers per hour, maybe I will travel in time.
That's
It was a very dangerous, very childish thing, but yeah, I was like
that's
having the
brilliant.
bold approach to do it.
That's the difference, because when I watched that movie, I was just thinking how cool I'd look in the car, and that was it.
The car
So
was
I just sit in my
the
dad's
car was
car.
amazing as well.
Oh, I know.
DeLorean, yeah.
Irish car. I'm not
Yes.
saying it, but it is an Irish car.
Now I got it.
I don't want to take too much responsibility. Brilliant. Now, you've worked across continents and energy technologies from fossil to renewables. When you think about sustainability and your sustainability journey, what does that mean to you personally? What does, for you, what does that, like, how do you see it?
It's crystal clear to me, to be frank. I see it as a calling. I see it as I mentioned earlier, like I don't see any other field that could be the best field to leave your legacy behind.
Okay.
I see it as a moral contract between generations, so that we can always get ourselves guided with the question how we can solve for today while not compromising for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So to me, it's really, since it's a calling, then you don't get tired doing it. You don't get tired talking about it. You don't get tired, or you don't get rattled. You don't get discouraged. You know, I think that's the real deal. It's a calling.
Did you always feel it was a calling? Like, or did it turn into a calling when you got into the
It
industry?
has turned into a calling. To
Okay.
be frank, when I started on this energy electricity world, I had all these experiences, like doing many projects in many parts of the world, and I started to realize the thing that I'm doing is not just realizing a sketch on the paper into the real world. It has a much broader meaning for touching people's lives, because access to electricity, first of all, is a very basic human right. It's dignity. It is the main force behind development opportunity. But I started to realize all these following my interactions with the people
Okay.
all around the world.
Yeah.
And then having all these technologies, because I have gas, geothermal, nuclear, wind, hydro, solar, storage. And I started to realize there is something beyond the type of the technology.
Yeah.
It's all about generating power. It's all about giving people the access to have a human life, changing their life, up, improving their quality of their life. But at the same time, there could be always a way to preserve the future while doing these as of now.
Yeah.
So they all came together after some time of, let's say, experience, talk, realization, reading, and now I see it as a
And now
calling.
you see it.
Yeah.
Amazing. As you were saying before, now you've built over 11 gigawatts of capacity, and more than 5 gigawatts in renewables. So take us back. What drove you to get into energy? Like, what was the step into it? And how has your mission evolved over the years? Now, I know you're saying that it's a calling, but do you feel with technology advancing, you're saying you're in the industry now almost 20 years, do you feel that it's getting easier or bigger or better, or is there more restraints or more difficult?
I think two aspects over here. One is, and some people maybe heard me saying this Latin phrases that I like is, knowing yourself, which is also ipsum ad astra per aspera, so to the stars through difficulties. And the third one is the opus magnum.
Yes.
So I think this is the opus magnum. To leave a sustainable world to our future generations is the best legacy you can leave behind. It can be the opus magnum. That's one thing. The second thing is maybe also another story. I think it was 2013. I was working in Iraq and building a power plant of 1.25 gigawatts in Kerbela region.
And so I just got across your story because I'm fascinated the way, because you make it so, like, I couldn't even think of building a shed. What does it take to build, just so people know, like, what does it take to build one of these facilities? What are we talking, like what's the effort and infrastructure and planning that goes into one of these?
Well, it takes easily like from planning stage to execution stage and realization stage, probably around, I can say, 3 years easily.
3 years.
Yes, if you
Wow.
have all the resources.
Yeah, yeah,
Depending on the location, depending on the resource availability, it can take more.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm talking about like thousands of people being very actively working despite the ambient conditions, despite all the other challenges.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm talking about like acres and acres of land required,
Takes that much.
infrastructure required. Yes.
What would be
Yeah.
I know this is gonna vary, but for example, that facility, how much would that cost, that facility, to build that facility?
I think at that time, and some parts of it is the commercial part, which is
Yeah.
always driven by the market and the dynamics. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about, triple digit $1 million easily.
Really?
Easily.
And do these facilities have a lifespan?
Around 25 years.
25 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, go on, continue. I'm just fascinated by the way it was like so easy to you. I was like, wow, if only I could do it.
I think I was talking about the Iraq thing.
Yes.
It was 2013, a very big project, and it was in the Kerbela region over there. And you can imagine it is 50 plus degrees, very dry. People over there, before they have this power plant, they were using home located diesel generators, but the fuel quality is very bad, air quality is very bad. They don't have power. They have like 3 hours, 4 hours max every day. It's very hot. Kids are suffering. Elderlies are suffering. We completed the project, and I remember there was like a payment that was not released within some sort of authorities. And I was the director of the project at that time, and I traveled to Baghdad, requested to have a meeting with the people in charge. And then first they said, well, we don't allow people, but I said, look, this is also important for us, for you as well. So eventually I got the chance to meet with an official who is the approval. There is just a paperwork on the queue, but you can imagine like maybe there are 1,000 paper being in the queue.
Yeah.
So that gentleman may not have an idea about which paper is which. It's just like a full in the queue. And then I explained to him, look, I'm from this company. I have been building together with the team this power plant. The moment he heard about me being one of the persons behind that power plant, he just gave me a big bear hug. He said,
Really?
you know what? My mother is from Kerbela. Just yesterday, I talked to her. The way she expressed the change in her life,
Yeah.
because now she has 24 hours access to electricity. She is running on air conditioning. She doesn't need to run these diesel generators,
Yeah.
etc. The way that she was expressing her happiness was a world to me. And then he said, I cannot thank you enough. I am so sorry that this was pending. Please excuse me. I had 1,000 other things. If I knew that it was your project,
Yeah, yeah.
I would do whatever it takes. Let's do it right now.
Oh,
He
amazing.
checked it. He said, give me a couple of times. I mean, he checked everything. Everything is fine. He stamped, and then he said, your payment will be released. So these are the anecdotes that really make me understand. You know, there is a song, Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson. There must be more to life than this.
Yes.
There must be more to life than all this electricity excess. It's all about really the human piece.
Yeah. Well, like, what's the feeling like when it becomes operational? But like as you said, you're working on this project for years. How do you feel when it's operational? Like,
It's a different feeling of satisfaction, and of course nothing happens momentarily. In all those projects as well, you have some certain very big milestones, so it takes a lot of time to design and then procure the items and then transport it to the site. You start building it, you start constructing it, but then there is a point, we call it commissioning. So you start to really energize the systems. We call it first fire. So you just ignite it. You see for the first time the first kilowatt hours this time
hours.
being generated, and then you just commission the subsequent systems. And eventually there is one day called COD, which
Okay.
stands for commercial operation date.
Okay.
And over that date, now your plant is fully functional with all the main systems, balance of plant systems. And of course, what you do over there is like, having like this, we did it, high fives. It's a very different feeling of satisfaction.
Amazing. That's amazing. I just want to get your view. What's the biggest misconception about decarbonization today? And what practical steps should companies in heavy industries be taking right now?
I'm in this space for some time, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, I am also very much interested in the human psychology. I think the biggest misconception is, first, some of the things that we are discussing are all about future, not now, which is not the case. And then some people may not have the full belief or confidence that we will not be successful. So these are the two things I would say. And the third part is, sometimes some people think, well, there will be others to come and save us or do what is necessary.
Yeah.
There is this feeling of watching a movie, right? So if somebody, some aliens, they were watching us in a movie, they will be shouting right now, saying that, stop those emissions, reduce it, as if they are saying, hey, don't you see the killer over there? Hey, don't do it, don't, hold it. Something very similar. I think with that misconceptions, which, by time, by education, by awareness, by really walking the talk, we will come over it, because the technology is readily available. Most of the technologies that we are currently talking about are readily available. And while we talk, there is right now new technologies being developed each and every day. Cost curves are coming down. Economies of scale is helping us. Commercial deployment is helping us. So it's not something about the future, it's all about today. And maybe the other aspect is for the heavy industries, and I say this the same again, it's really all about, you don't need a 300-page of document in order to structure your roadmap. Start small, but start now. Identify your material ESG topics, your emissions. Make a commitment publicly and just go all in. Improve your energy efficiency. Even by doing this, there could be a jump up to 20% in terms of emissions reduction. Lead with data. Take data into action. So, invest in carbon economy, invest in the circularity, make your fuel switch. So when you just combine all these items, I think there is no way out that anyone would not be successful.
Do you think it just comes, like, I know it's sad to say, but do you reckon is it a money issue where people just don't want to make that investment? They're like, I don't want to be the first ones to do it. Let them do it. Why aren't they doing it? When they do it, I'll do it. And then
I think there are a couple of layers over there. One is, as we see in almost all kinds of new adoption, whether it is a new phone, a new technology, there is always going to be an early adopters. And there is always going to be like, okay, let me see it first. And once others are going for it, I will also go for it.
Yeah.
And there is always this benefit of being an early adopter if you are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, we need to find a way to, I call it like fix the business as usual. We have this short-term look, which is probably from my perspective is the biggest enemy of the business resilience and sustainability. And as soon as we know that this is a one-way road, the direction of travel is set. And I'm speaking it out of very high confidence because I know when something is existential, the action is also essential.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, this way or that way, everybody will be implementing all these measures. Everybody will be putting sustainability at the core of their operations. The early movers are going to be enjoying being an early mover. The others, if they don't, they will be taking on unmanaged liabilities and risks, but eventually everybody will
They're
be
going to have
jumping
to.
on this
They're going
train.
to do it. Yeah, I always find it like you were saying before, the technology is here. But do you feel that the willpower doesn't match the technology in the sense of, you know, you look at like a country who's established, say America or somewhere in Europe, but then the likes of India and China are like, but wait a minute, we haven't had a chance to get up to speed in our economies just because you're ready, we're not ready. And then that's the,
I would say there is an important definition that we generally use when it comes to energy transition. Looking at the history, looking at the overall dynamics as well, you have to have a fair, just, and equitable energy transition. So we should not expect everyone to take action at the same level. That's one thing. The second thing, I would not call it like I see a lack of leadership. However, everybody's understanding could be different. And the pace of adapting technology, the pace of embracing technology, the pace of taking the lead could be different from location to location, countries to countries. I think, for example, that's something that really makes me very, very excited about this region. The mindset, the leadership
Yeah.
over here is always about very, very open for change, exuding the leadership that everybody is looking for, adapting the technology, dare to shape the future. And when you have all these ingredients, then you see success.
yeah. Now, you've led large-scale transformations, as we said. How do you balance business performance, but with long-term environmental imperative?
I think that is like, as I mentioned earlier, right now we are running businesses on quarters, which is, it is what it is. But the short-termism is not a friend of our long-term view and the long-term resilience. So I think what I'm always trying to do is, and 10 years, by the way, 20 years, 30 years, these are like, as we say, time flies. These are relatively very, very short span of time with respect to a human's life or with respect to a company's life.
Yeah.
So even right now, we are talking about 2030s. I can tell you, and I give all these examples all the time. In this podcast, right here, right now, if you and me, agree to make a project or bring a project into life, it will take 4, 5, 7 years from the inception to that COD date. So it's like tomorrow. But 7 years, 6 years from now, we'll be talking about 2030s. So that's the thing I think everybody, that I would like everybody to understand. This short-term business approach will not help anyone. And then they need to find a way to really be more resilient in terms of regulatory compliance, in terms of investor relations, Because there will be some days, and I know it's coming, we know it's coming, that if you are really not well prepared, if you did not adapt the sustainability at the core of your operations, you will find it very hard to sell your products and services. You will find it very hard for investors choose you to be your investor.
Yeah.
You will find it very hard to access to capital, and you will also find it very hard to attract real talent working for you.
That's true. I suppose the talent are always going to go to the leaders as opposed to the. It's very true. I always like this question. Can you share a story of a project or decision? I think you kind of covered this, but that truly shifted your thinking on sustainability or carbon reduction.
I think that Iraq story was that way.
I think the Iraq story was that story, wasn't it?
I have many stories, to be
Yeah.
frank. I like stories, but that one, that has a really special place in my
Yeah.
heart. Because I also remember it was a very challenging project, 50 plus degrees, logistically very challenging.
What was your thinking? What was
Time-wise,
your
very
thinking when you
challenging.
got that brief for that project? Did you look at that and go, "Oh no," or did you look at this and go, "Yep, I can do it in 3 years," or did you look at this and go, "I don't know what's going to happen with this project"? Like, what's your thinking going into a project like that? And a region at the time, like as you said before, Iraq in 2013 probably wasn't on the #1 tourist destination.
Right?
How did you like?
I like the way you are
Yeah,
you
I
are
was just trying to
expressing
like,
very,
what
very
made you
gentle.
go that's my project, brilliant, or were you like, oh, I don't know about this one?
Okay. I've been always valuing to have mentors in my life. And probably that's the reason, one of the hidden reason that I like to be mentors for some young professionals right now. When I was relatively very, very young, in the beginning of my career, someone who I appreciate a lot, he told me, always go for things that other people don't chase. Always go for the challenge. And he told me, you know what? You have nothing to lose. The worst thing that everybody is afraid because they don't go for it, the worst thing is you will fail. But it's fine. Everybody was going to fail.
Yeah.
And the best thing is you will learn a lot and you will achieve remarkable success. So I think he shaped my mindset at that time. So whenever I see something very challenging or some other people may be scared of it, I only saw opportunity.
So that excites you, the opportunity of
excites
the
me.
success of it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And every time I was proven correct,
Yeah.
That's my story.
No, that's amazing. It's lovely to hear. Did you find?
As I mentioned earlier, by the way, it was not easy.
Yeah.
It was really tough. Everything was tough. I mean, I can give you 1,000 examples with respect to doing business in other part of the world at a different time. But I think that also goes very much in line with this ad astra per aspera thing. There is no way out that things will come to you easy, in an easy way. You earn it, you work hard for it, you spend, that's the reason people are using blood, sweat, and tears for it.
Yeah.
So, but that's the way you are achieving success.
Did you find once you did that project, did you have a sense of nothing could be more difficult than that project? Like going forward, like that was a milestone. You're like, well, if I can build a gigawatt facility in Iraq in 2013, that's it then. What like?
I think the feeling is always like, hey, while you are inside of it, while you are literally in it, I think you feel like, oh, I don't think there will be anything harder than this.
Yeah.
But then life
Something
teaches
comes up.
life teaches you
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stories, other.
Yeah. That's amazing. 2003. Wow. Do you believe we're on track to reach net zero in the Middle East? And what progress are you seeing? And where are we falling behind?
I will answer this question, but I will give you the example for the previous one. 2013 was this Iraq thing. And I was inside and saying that, oh my God, I don't think there will be anything challenging than this. In 2020, I was in charge of the wind business execution. We were tasked to build 25 different wind farms within the region.
Okay.
Everything was super planned on the paper, and then COVID hit. But the energy sector at that time, because of its being strategic, it was not exempted from all the measures. And so we have to work, we have to deliver. And there were some other dynamics as well. I think that was the most challenging time in my life. Running a team more than 35 people, actively at site every day. And you get COVID infections, it's very hard to move, it's very hard to do things at the same time. Safety is an important aspect of it. There is disruption in terms of logistics. You have to deliver things on time. Doing almost like 19 projects at the same time.
Wow.
I think that was the biggest challenge so far.
So you found that more difficult than 2013? Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Did you go into that? I know you didn't know about COVID, but going into that project, what was your mindset? Was COVID going on, or was COVID?
No,
Oh
no.
no, it wasn't.
Look, when they first came with the offer to me, I know that that was going to be something remarkable. That is something that has never ever done.
Okay.
Because of the market conditions, there was a huge spike in the number of projects. Let me put it like this. In average, the number of projects being delivered was around 3 to 4.
Right.
The challenge was to deliver 19 projects in the same year. It was already like a mission impossible on the paper, which excited me enough. And I had no idea that COVID is on the way. On top of that, we had COVID. On top of that, we had all these, limitations.
Yeah.
Not to be able to get human touch. Everything became on online platforms. It is not that much easy to keep the morale and the motivation of the team when you don't have this, one-on-one dialogues. That's why I'm saying I think that was the biggest challenge. But the team has delivered it on time, successfully, without any problems, which is a legacy that we are all right now sharing, and then, having a very, very lovely memories of that time.
Was there any point during that project where you felt like, oh, this is too much? I'm not personally, but I just meant like putting your hand up and going, listen, we have COVID, we have restrictions, there's an extra 15 projects than normal. Was there any point where you said, let's put the brakes on, or did that just motivate you more?
I think because I was leading the team over there and I felt their responsibility on me, I was like having masks and faces. So I was really trying to keep the team up. But what I realized is at the end of that period, I also lost 8 kgs. And then I said to myself, look, it should not be the right way to do it. So there should be some other ways, much healthier, much practical ways to do it. And everything in life is like that. You always have learnings of what to do and what not to do. And that's the journey.
Yeah. Do you find yourself, when these projects are taken, when they're do they become, and not in a bad way, but do they become consuming or obsessive? Like, do they take over your life, the projects? Or have you found a balance now?
I think in general, they don't.
No.
I mean, under normal conditions,
Yeah.
you know what to do. You have always the team with you. You have people around you. So you know what to do. You just need to make sure you manage risks and you mitigate the risks in the proper way.
Yeah.
But those are like very, very, I would say, extraordinary conditions. I mean, that was the main driver behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not go back to that. I can. But like I was saying before, so what do you think we're lacking at the moment? Where are we falling short, do you think?
I think it's a little bit perspective issue. The way I see, because I can see the world as a whole, And also I can look at the countries, that are, data is right now the most abundant thing in the world.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to know, whatever you want to learn, you can access the data and you can have an understanding of what's going on. I think right now we are in the phase of building that critical mass.
Right.
And there is very good progress, never enough, especially when it comes to tackling climate change. And this is the most Herculean, the biggest challenge of humanity. That's why we need to find ways to come together. We need to find ways to bring the pieces of the puzzle together. It's not just the corporate, government, or startup or financing thing, but it's also people. So everybody should be doing their part. On the other hand, I see that critical mass is being built. And once you reach out to that point, after you have the critical mass, then things will start to go on their own. As I mentioned earlier, there will be early adapters, there will be leadership, adapting technology, exuding leadership. But we already start to see it for years. And now it's like everywhere. I mean, countries are going for electrification, renewables integration, carbon dioxide removal, carbon dioxide mitigation technologies. We are talking about right now the future of energy, low carbon, no carbon fuels. So I think it's already building right now. It's all about the pace, the momentum, and what probably people like me are just trying to ignite so that we can have a little bit more speed, fast, because it's all about really taking action. Something very important is progress beats perfection. A 5% improvement as of today is much better than a 50% reduction plan for the future, which never takes off. So that's how I think about taking action, and that's why I encourage people to take action.
If I was speaking to you 4 years ago, we're in the DeLorean and we go back 4 years.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Buy some Bitcoin. Do you think, are we at a good point now? Could we be further? Are we on target? Or are we still, and we're not moving?
I think we are in a much, much better point right now.
Really?
Much, much better point. I mean, and I'm speaking on this someone that knows how the electrons work, electricity work. I think the understanding and the awareness of the need to modernize the grid, the need to make the investment, and numbers are helping us that the world is moving in that direction. In terms of the money flows to the clean energy investment, new technology investments, every year it's increasing. In terms of financing tools, sustainability linked bonds, we see every year it's increasing. In terms of adoption of ESG initiatives, in terms of regulatory framework. So from my perspective, everything is in a much, much better. Again, not enough. More to be done, but with respect to what we were 4 years ago,
We're better.
I'm glad to see that progress.
Brilliant. You often talk about vision, teamwork, and coaching. As before, how does this mindset translate when driving something as complex as an energy transition?
I had the privilege of being in many teams in my life. Some of them were not successful teams. Some of them were mediocre teams. Some of them were like absolutely great teams. So I think I got the gist of what makes a team great.
Yes.
And what to do and what not to do. So this is literally what I am applying in my work environment or anybody that I'm interacting with. First things first, most of the achievements that we try to have in our life, they are change management. So you are always looking for getting something from point A to point B. It's a change management. Number two, everybody wants change. No one wants to change. So the best way to manage that change with that people, pulling that people with you, is to show them what is in it for them to change. And that's why the vision is important. So you have to set a very clear vision, where you want to go, why you want to go there, and what is in it for your people. to come to there with you. That's one thing. The second thing is, it's, I think, all about trust based on vulnerability, to create an environment that people can fail even very free, fail fast,
Very good,
learn
yeah.
fast. You discuss ideas instead of personas so that you make sure the best ideas win. And I'm saying this because the leader is the main driver behind all these environments. If the leader is not allowing people to discuss the ideas, then no one will discuss it.
So open communication. is very
Open
important.
communication, constructive conflict, making people accountable, making people that, hey, I rely on you to deliver this to me on time so that I can deliver my part to the other party on time. So like the peer pressure.
Yeah.
And while doing all of these, I think it's also important to give the confidence to everyone. Again, being as a leader.
Yeah.
Because most people can get very easily, whenever, especially when there is a chaos environment, we get rattled by the chaos.
Yeah.
But I think there is always beauty to get inspired by that chaos by beating it back.
Right.
Because there is always beauty after chaos.
Yeah.
So once you keep that confidence that, hey, the beauty is waiting for us, stay strong. I'm here with you. You can fail. We are here to work as a team and we will make it happen. And there will be a day we will be celebrating all these all together and we will be having lovely memories that we can tell to our future kids,
Yes.
grandsons. I think that's the main motivation. So high trust velocity, being agile.
Did you always have that though? Did you always?
No,
You developed it.
it developed.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Like when did you feel, not a particular part, but when did you feel that you were able to trust your team to fail or encourage them to not be?
I think these are all the things that I was thinking on in my first 10 years. Again, starting to look at the things beyond the day-to-day work. Am I happy doing this? Why I am not happy doing this? Why my colleague, while I see he or she has an amazing potential, why he is not working at his best? And next project, hey, he is working at his best. What happened? Everything eventually started to came to me with that observations that the leadership is the most important part over there.
Yeah.
And then from there, I start to think about, okay, what to do, what not to do. And then I started to find and follow leaders that inspires me.
Brilliant.
And I started to build some action plans for my own self.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, it's important to know yourself. What are my gaps in order to be like that person? Is it reading about this topic? Is it about public speaking? Is it about letting them fail? And I think this mindset of first finding people that inspires you, trying to be like them, and then eventually it boils down to the concept of be the leader you want to follow. And I think that's very empathical thing. So by years, I always started to say myself, look, be the leader you want to follow. And that leader to me is a servant leader. That leader to me is giving people that safety,
Yeah.
appreciating them, valuing them, but also making them accountable. And I think that's the main ingredients behind great teams.
That must have took a lot of self-reflection on your own part though to you know realize that you need to change for your team to do better. That's a very selfless thing. Like a lot of people would, blame the team. It's not my fault. I'm great. The team should do harder. You should work hard. That must have been very it's very rare you meet people who go, no, if I work on myself, then my team will do better.
I think maybe a little bit maturity, maybe a little bit thinking on these topics, maybe a little bit trying to do the best of what you can are the main drivers behind. Because now I'm saying to everyone that I'm working with, ladies and gentlemen, probably we will work together maybe a year, maybe 2 years. It's a privilege. I feel lucky that our paths crossed with you, but I know that it's not going to be forever.
Yeah.
Because it's all about change.
Yeah.
Everything changes. So why don't we understand that the time is limited? The time that we are going to spend together is limited. The project that we are going to bring to life is going to end one day. So why don't we get the most out of it? Be the best of ourselves. Rather than saying, oh my God, we could have done it better. Why should we say it while we can do it now? I think that's the mentality. So once you have the mentality and this is the right thing to do. I mean, I don't see anyone objecting to this. I don't see anyone saying to me, oh, no, I don't want to be at my best. Everybody wants to be at their best. Everybody looks for, people are always looking for an opportunity. People are looking for support. If you give them that emotional support, if they feel safe, if they feel valued with you, I've never seen people.
You'll get the more out of
You
that.
get the more out of it.
It's amazing. What advice? I think this goes to what we were just saying about your leadership. Actually, but it said, what advice would you give to business leaders who want to make real progress on SDGs or net zero targets, but feel overwhelmed by scale of change? I think we kind of covered this. That you said, like, you have to embrace the change and
Embrace the change, exude leadership, data, decision, direction. Start small, but start now.
yeah,
I think that's the key.
yeah. Do you think it's? Do you find that some leaders are afraid of change?
Very normal.
Yeah,
Could be.
yeah,
Everybody may have their own reasons. But we say managers do things right, leaders do the right things.
right.
So I think that's the main thing that makes you a different leader.
Yeah, very good. What role do partnerships and ecosystems, like those formed between government, private sector, and startups, play in achieving meaningful, scalable impact?
I think when it comes to energy transition, it's a relay race. It's not a solo race because of the size of the challenge.
Yeah.
The time is ticking. So we need to find a way to stop competing and building coalitions. And everybody has its own part. I mean, governments has the power to set the direction, set the playground, give the predictability to all other players. Corporates have the size and scale and the resources in order to drive things. Financiers has the capability to really fuel this growth with providing capital. Startups have the capability to continues to challenge the status quo, come out with the innovation. So these are the elements of really being successful against such a challenge.
Yeah.
And that's why the ecosystems, that's why the alliances, that's why the partnerships are probably now the most popular topics that we are talking about, because people understand that there is no way out. We will not be able to solve that much a challenge problem without systems thinking, without bringing all these pieces together. Otherwise, it will be, again, business as usual. And we know that business as usual is not going to help us.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think, I think just by talking to you for this little bit, but I think I'm going to know the answer. Do you think it's achievable?
It is.
Yeah.
Just today in the morning, I was in the elevator on my apartment. And, every day they are putting some lovely phrases.
Yeah.
You know what was the phrase that I saw today in the morning? People who don't believe in magic will never find them. They'll never find it. I don't believe, by the way, it's magical. But I was just thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
I think it's the same story. Some people will think until it is achieved. As I think it was Mandela who said, it's always impossible until somebody makes it possible.
Yeah.
Same story. Looking at the past, reading at the world history, you will see amazing examples of what seemingly possible became possible.
Yeah.
And I don't think there could be something different when it comes to reaching net zero.
Brilliant. Finally, if you had to sum it all up, what's the one lesson you believe the next generation of energy leaders must learn now to lead us into a more sustainable future?
I trust them a lot because I see it's all about people, and especially because of my experience, because of the ideas that I'm seeing from the youth, from startups, from Nairobi, from the mega scale projects in Abu Dhabi, in many different environments. I think they are the driving force. They have the awareness. They literally know what it means, sustainability, to live in a sustainable world. And I think they will be the main driving force behind. So in order to really get the most out of it, I would suggest to develop themselves, coming back to knowing yourself, understand your capabilities. There is right now an ocean of information on any topic. Whatever you want to know, it's available. You can reach out to people that you will previously not able to even speak, but you can reach out. You have access to information. You have access to all kind of skills. So develop your skills. Never ever get rattled by the chaos. There will be always a chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, and energy transition also is not going to be like a very straight line forward. There will be ups and downs. There will be technologies problems. There will be this and that. But never get rattled. Never forget your North Star. Always act with clarity. So if you know what and where you want to achieve, if you have that calling, nothing will stop you. So with that determination, with the right skills, developing themselves, I don't think there will be any single reason not to be successful.
Amazing. Yasin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
It's a lovely talk to you and very insightful and very inspiring. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for
Thank you
having
very
me.
much.